Welcome to the July update from the board. I'm Bob Walter, President. With me today is
Randy Robbins, Vice President.
we're going to give you a little update on what's been happening the past week past month with the board. The one of the main things we're doing is that we're focusing on renegotiating our contract. We've had the same contract with First Service for over 4 years, 4.5 years. It should be renewed and examined every year, has not been, and we want to make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck. We want to try and hold them a little more accountable and lower the fees and the cost. We have hired a consulting firm, Sequoia Grove Consulting, and we have Karen Conlon working, she's the consultant working with us. We're going to begin the negotiations on the 25th of this month. We anticipate them to be complete within a month or so. Now, there has been a rumor out there that we're seeking an RFP. RFP is request for proposal. We're not doing that. We're negotiating. If the negotiations don't work out at a later date, then we can examine that possibility of doing an RFP. But right now, we're just in the negotiation phase. A few of the other things that we've done is that we've hired a architect, Paul Collins, and he's going to be the main architect reviewing all the plans and everything for the lounge expansion. Lounge expansion is coming along pretty good. It's anticipating, if we get everything approved by the city and all the bids and everything in, we'll begin construction in January. We want to wait until after the activities for the holidays are over. And so we're looking around the beginning, the first week or so in January, if all goes well. Some of the other things we've been involved in is that Ajit assisted us in doing a survey concerning a possible shuttle to Morongo back and forth to the casino at no cost to us. The survey results indicated that 87% were interested and 30% would use it on a regular basis. So we referred that back to the Morongo and the Tribal Council. They're dark in July, but they're going to review it and get back to us with a decision sometime next month. It does appear to be favorable, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Another thing that we were involved in is the Banning Police Department. We were trying to get them to offer some more patrol. We were actually willing to pay them $1,000 a week to patrol our community. They declined our offer, but they did offer to go ahead and begin patrolling, not on a regular basis or a set schedule, but they're having 3 officers per day come into our community, most of the time in the evening, and patrol at no cost to us. So it worked out pretty good because now we don't have to pay $1,000 a week, but we're still getting police services from Banning PD. The sand wedge. We approved the construction of the change in the sand wedge. We're now going to have an actual bar in there. They had a little
Breakfast bar.
breakfast table that it was very, very small. No one used it. It was not very functional or profitable for us, and we're going to change it into an actual bar. Now that doesn't mean we're closing down the sand wedge. Sand wedge is still going to be used, for breakfast and lunch. It's just that in the evening time we can now have another option, and it'll bring in a lot more revenue to us. So we're looking forward to that. It's closed as of July 9th, and we're scheduled to reopen the sand wedge / sports bar on September 11th. So look forward to some announcements in reference to that. Recently, we had a situation where there was a fire nearby off of the hills behind Breckenridge. It was called the Highland Fire. There was a couple fires. Another one was a rabbit fire. They named the fires after different roads. And we had an evacuation of the homes on the south side of Breckenridge. And it went pretty well. We had no structures burned. We had a lot of collaboration and cooperation from the different agencies. We had Banning PD, had many units there. We had Cal Fire had 6 different fire trucks, and we had 3 that I saw, 3 helicopters dropping water, and they were the main ones that put out the fire. So although we did evacuate some homes, it was touch and go for a while. The people, went to the main ballroom, and they were able to return that night at 9 o'clock. So Securitas helped out with the traffic control. We had EPAP notifying people. So all in all, it worked out pretty good. And I guess we can't claim we're not in a fire zone anymore, but I'm glad that all the agencies were able to cooperate and make sure that there was no fire damage, to our community. Now Randy has some extra
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I want to follow up or continue on the fire issue. One thing I want to point out is that our sense of community really showed. I talked to numerous people that live up on Breckenridge, and they had many of them had an outpouring of people calling them saying, "Come to your house, come down to my house if you want. If it's cold, I'll buy you a cold beer," or whatever they might have said. So I had a couple come over to my house for a couple hours till they could get back into their house. So that worked out really well, and the sense of community was fantastic. The only thing we'll ever ask for is what don't be looky-loos and get in the way of responders. We had a lot of people. I think at one time we had a traffic jam on Birdie of golf carts. So anything that we can do to prevent that in the future, I think, is fantastic. Maybe just go watch the water coming out of the lakes. That might be the excitement part. So I just wanted to touch on that. Obviously, we have now hit summer. I think most of you know we basically did not have a spring. Went straight from cold to warm. So as you can tell by me wearing my shorts today. So the thing I want to say is the growing season, as I've said before, the growing season is going on right now. Artistic and your local gardeners and so forth are keeping busy trying to keep caught up with everything. So back to the news of what's been going on. The board had previously approved a special election to change the percentage in our CC&Rs to allow a CC&R change for just 50% plus 1. We looked into that. We were planning on making that change as was approved at a previous open session. Upon further reflection, we realized, although I personally still believe that we will get more accomplished by having a smaller majority, what we did realize by doing that would effectively take the voting power away from the delegates. The board absolutely felt that is not a direction that we are prepared to go, are desirous of going, or prepared to go. So that has been tabled at this time. That will stay the same. We are working on what we're calling a repair and replacement fund assessment, which is a assessment that technically would be charged to all homeowners. However, existing homeowners would be exempt from having to pay it. New homeowners would not be exempt. So a new homeowner moves in. Usually it'll happen during escrow. It could happen a little bit later on. There is a time frame. They would be paying a fee of 6 months worth of that year's assessments. This would go directly into the repair and replacement fund, commonly referred to as the reserves. But it is the repair and replacement fund. We separate that from the capital improvement fund. So that's something that will ultimately, once the society is finally post-COVID and get back to normal, we're looking at anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 a year directly into our repair and replacement fund, which would not have to be funded directly by the homeowners. Current homeowners or even new homeowners as they come in, we could then either move that money elsewhere within the budget or possibly address assessments. We're working on the budget now. Just at the very beginning processes, we're working on our directives to the management company to prepare the first draft of the budget, and our goal is to have a very realistic, achievable budget. The board also approved some committee members. Donna Harrington is now a new member of the Restaurant and Lounge Committee. Jerry Blodgett has been added to the Marketing Advisory Committee. Both of those individuals have been active in our community for many years, and we look forward to their expertise on their respective committees. The board also approved the appointment of Christian Gonzalez as delegate for District 8. District 8 had been vacant for some time of both a delegate and an alternate, so we now have a delegate. We also approved Kate Reed as the delegate for District 20. The board also has accepted a donation of two park benches, as I call them, from the Garden Club to replace a couple of broken ones that were throughout the community. The Garden Club had donated those two previously, and now they've worn out and they've replaced them. So we thank the Garden Club vehemently for their contribution to the community. The Community Awareness Program.
The first Tuesday of the month, August the 1st, 1 to 3 in the main ballroom. And they're going to have 2 guest speakers in addition to always having someone from Banning PD and someone from Securitas. They're going to have someone from Vector Control dealing with the mosquito problem. And also they're going to have a public work director doing the Banning Downtown Revitalization Plan. It's a real important plan that they're going to be proposing, and they're going to present everything to us on the first from 1 to 3. So if you can, come by at that particular time.
On that note, one note that Bob commented on was the vector control regarding mosquitoes and so forth. Beginning July 27th, street sweeping in the community will resume. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. It will be on the currently. We are doing a month-to-month on the same program that was done before, which would basically hit every area 2 times a month. The reason, and as we all know, there's various rumors as to why we stopped it. It was very ineffective. We are still going with that type of process, but we are looking into a vacuum truck company as well to do something, because under the state law they cannot spray a full amount of water as water trucks have done for many years. Sweeper trucks have done for many years, and so we can't do it as much. So the goal now would be to get a different one of the more modern processes that hopefully will do a better job. But for short term, we have reinstated again effective July 27th.
And the good thing to be aware of is that we responded to the numerous complaints. We had many complaints from the community about, hey, this street was not being taken care of properly, and so we finally decided, we tried it for 1 year of no street sweeping, other than we would have artistic maintenance go out and do certain selected areas, but it wasn't sufficient for our membership here, so we decided to go back to the old company and, as Randy mentioned, look for another vendor, because the other one just kind of spread the dirt around. So maybe they have a better system now than they had last year, but it's month to month, so we can always change it if we find a better vendor. But at least now, twice a month, our streets will be swept. So keep their concerns coming. Remember, the best way to deal with it is what? Message to management. You don't have to wait an entire month, to bring it up at a listening session. At any time, there's a box there at the main clubhouse. Fill out the form, drop it in, or you can go on the web page. There's a little icon there that says Message to Management on the right-hand side. Put it in. We can track, and the board does track that. When they go through to see whether or not they're getting a appropriate response from First Service. So accountability and timeliness are, one of the important things that we look for in management companies.
Thank you, Bob. And one last thing I want to address is, you will see in the coming next week or two, the new stop signs and speed limit signs going in. They are highly reflective. We are replacing virtually all the existing stop signs. It might not be every single one at this stage, but we are doing as many as we possibly can. One thing I wanted to clarify, I've clarified a few times on email for people. with a few exceptions of new areas of stop signs, these are replacements. We are not adding 100 more stop signs in our community. As much as I know that would probably slow us down, it would probably lead into running more and more stop signs. This is as much more about safety than it is simply HOA rules enforcement. It's about safety. We've had injuries, we've had near misses. I had a near miss the other day on my way down for a meeting. So we need to be very careful. Stop at the limit lines, stop at the stop signs, and watch out for everybody: golf carts, pedestrians, and other vehicles. So I believe that's all I've got, Bob. If there's anything else you'd like to add.
And on the stop signs, there will be a few new ones being placed based upon the recommendations from our Safety Advisory Committee, but only a few, not 100. As Randy was saying. So people who misinterpreted that, they were incorrect. But we're concerned about speeding and safety of our residents here. So we're addressing that issue, and wish everybody a happy, healthy month, and stay out of the 100 plus temperature in the afternoons.
Exactly. Enjoy the rest of July, and we'll see you back here in a month.
Yep. Thank you.